From time to time, it will be necessary to shut down the FPG and take out the piston cylinder, whether it be for shipping or for cleaning. The process is fairly simple. It involves shutting down the lubrication pressure, dismantling the mounting post, and extracting the piston cylinder. To begin, we go over to FPG Tools and we click on the button that currently says off, and the tag comes up and it says vent lubrication pressure. This act is known as shutting down the FPG. And the important part is that we are safely and controllably venting our lubrication pressure down to atmosphere. When our lubrication pressure equals atmosphere, then it's safe to remove the lower mounting post and the piston cylinder. On the FPG, the lubrication pressure is what forms the lubricating flow in the mounting post between the piston and the cylinder. It's also the same pressure that is up in the lubricating volume. Once this pressure is vented, then it becomes possible to remove the lower mounting post. And looking at our FPG tools, we can now see that our pressure is pretty close to atmospheric pressure. It is now safe to disassemble the mounting post. The process for disassembling the mounting post is fairly simple. For convenience, you can press down on these valve driver tubes and pull them and remove them from our work area. Take off the accessories. Take off the valve tin manifold, which is this assembly on the right hand side. Catch the O-rings as they roll across the table. And the final step is on the back side of the mounting post from the lower right hand side. There's a platinum resistance thermometer used to measure the temperature, and that needs to be unscrewed and gently pulled out from the back side. It's always easier to talk about it than to actually do it. Take your left hand, push up in the bottom to give some support while gently backing off the knurled ring. Place it down on the side and remove the O-ring that seals the top and the bottom halves. Now at this point we have the exposed cylinder and the piston up inside. We have piston retaining nuts on the left, the right, and we have the cylinder indexing pin. To remove, take your hand, pat it with a towel, also protecting your fingers from touching the polished surface of the piston, and start by removing the piston retaining nuts. I'm gently pushing up on the bottom in order to not bind the piston retaining nut in the gimbal ring. I'm being very careful to feel to make sure that these piston nuts come out without any hesitation or reluctance. And then finally we finish by pulling out the cylinder indexing pin. A technique here for pulling the pin out is to find a 3mm Allen wrench that has a squared off head. With a squared off head you can simply pull the pin out, tilt it a little bit, and it'll grab onto the inside of the pin. One of the common challenges is that if we use a Allen head that has a rounded tip, it makes it very difficult to slightly lever and grab onto that pin and extract it. So if you can get a squared off end like we have shown, I think that'll make your job a lot easier. At this point, the piston cylinder is free to come out. So we just gently lower it straight down and place it on the work surface. Keep in mind that The O-ring carrier that normally sits on top sometimes gets pressed and sticks to the upper inside. So just reach your fingers up, grab it, and out it comes. Now for handling of the piston, there are some techniques that will make this easier. Perhaps the easiest technique is to do a pinch and grab method, where you take your thumb and finger and simply pinch the piston to the cylinder, and then you can grab it and lift. Whenever you support the piston cylinder, I recommend you use a towel, or if you want to use a gloved hand, that is also acceptable. To flip it over, we can pinch and grab on the bottom, and now we have the piston upside down.